Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica and narrator Brandon Francis.
Hi.
Hi.
Well,
Hello. Great to be here.
yeah, well, we're happy to have you. We've been reading a lot of your, I shouldn't say reading, we've been listening to quite a bit of your books that you've narrated recently. So this is awesome.
Amazing.
We're excited for this.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. And I'm sorry that because the recent ones have been just so heart-wrenching that you have probably just gotten your heart ripped out from your chest, but then pieced back together.
Yeah, but see,
From the
I'm
ripped
not the
out.
crier. Like, those don't bother me. Those bother
Okay.
Mandy. She'll be like, I sobbed
Yes.
through this book. And I'm like, I think there's something wrong with me because I didn't. So, yeah. I just, I've got frozen tear ducts apparently.
That's all right.
Mhm.
So you have narrated one of our favorite authors, Carrie Ann Cole. You did The
Yes.
Lovely Return.
Yeah. That was amazing. That was my first book for Tantor, and it was my first one with Shiloh and Danny California, and they're amazing. And I've met them in person. But knowing, because I was never a reader going into this, but when I get an author reaching out or via just networking, I always look into them, and I could tell that the type of story, especially with the blurb and like just knowing what I was going to go into it, that it was going to be a heart wrencher for sure. This one in particular, and I had, when she had talked to me, it was like early, maybe mid 2024, so it was quite a while before the book actually came out. Just to kind of get in league with Tantor and to try to figure all that out behind the scenes, and I had to fight for it. It was definitely exactly as I expected, and then some, in regard to the emotions. And I love performing books like that, and so it was just a complete honor to do so. And in our private conversations about the book, I know it was very personal for her as well, and that knowing that going into it narrating added to more of the empathy and just more of the emotions that were just raw coming out. So I definitely one of the books that had me constantly crying in the booth.
Okay.
Yeah, that like the opening part of the book. Oh my gosh, it was
just hits you right at the beginning.
Crying.
Yeah. Well, and I knew it was going to be rough. You had read it before me, Mandy. I was waiting for audio. Like, we love Carrie Ann, so anything that comes out, we jump on. But I'm like, that is one thick book. And Mandy already picked it up, and I was like, I'm going to be the one that holds out for the audio so I can review the audio on our channel. And I waited and I waited. It was like 2 years waiting for this audio to come out. So it was great, though. We did get to meet Shiloh last weekend when we were in Vegas for the first time, too. So
in Vegas. Yeah, that's right. She was there.
Yeah. So
I am supposed to talk to you about a French fry situation.
Yeah. So you know the story?
I don't. She just said to ask you or to tell you owed her French fries or something. And she promised us that you would not that it wasn't anything bad or anything, and that you would think it was funny. And so you did
Absolutely.
laugh. But
it's
blind into this story.
I met her for the first time at APAC, which is the Audio Publisher Association conference, and it was in New York last year in March. Or was it this year? My whole timeline is just thrown off. And so we went to like this pub afterwards. It was for the Naughties, because it was right after the Audis that was conjoined with APAC. So the big kind of voice awards basically. And so some people, they don't go to that. They just go to what's called the Naughties, which is just at the bar afterwards. It's kind of this Irish pub. And so if you go to the Audis, then you can head there afterwards. And so we all met up, a bunch of actors, and her and I were at the same table. And she was saying just how hungry she was. So I ordered some fries from the bar, and it took them a while. But as soon as I got there, and she was done with her conversation, turned towards the fries and realized they were right in front of her. And she's like, "Is this?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is for you." She just started bawling. She was so hungry. She's so starving that she was. And I was just, hug it out. I'm glad that these fries could do that for you. And it became this inside joke. So the next time we had hung out with a group of friends here in California, she randomly bought me fries. Even though I had all my food. So it was just, it's this run-on thing. So apparently it's my turn now to purchase fries for her.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, we're just gonna switch off.
Yeah. Something you said before, we were talking about authors and being up for books. There's been a few authors recently that have reached out to us and said, who would you want for male narrators? So your name has popped up a few times. So,
wow.
You know, putting it out there. One of them is a really big one that we can talk about after we finish recording, but we'll see what happens.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm honored. It's still mind-blowing just how much I've been able and been fortunate to grow since early 2024 to where now I'm on this podcast and people are, that you're saying that my name is being thrown around. It's just, it's amazing.
Name is being thrown around, especially when I get the, who do you want that's not the same old, I'm like, oh, I got one. So, yeah.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. What you got next, Mandy?
So also you did one for Harlow James, someone somehow you knew.
Yeah,
that's
with Aaron Mellon.
A little more on the emotional side too.
Yeah, there's some of these books, they just sneak up on you, and that was one of them. You know, I'm like, oh, it's a romance, it's cutesy, and I go into it, and I know it was like also part of a series, and then especially it was the dynamic, and I'm always down for this. Any book that can explore a healthy male dynamic with friendships or brotherhood, like I live for those in particular, because it's not shown enough in media. And especially portrayed enough, I think, in real life in our society. And so that has been my fight, I think, my entire life. And so this book hit me in that sense as well.
Yeah, I think my first book that you narrated that I listened to was Fight by Sloane St. James. Was it Fight? It was the first. I love that series only because we're in Washington, and my dad was a logger growing up. He had a logging company. Now he's a preacher, so make that all make sense. But he was a logger. He had a logging company, and so those books were very close to home, right? Like it's so used to. I enjoyed it. I'm more of a dark romance girly, so typically it takes a lot to get me into one of those. But that sucked me in. I was there from the get-go.
I love that. Yeah, that was a really fun book. I still have yet to put out the video. I've been so busy. I've been slacking on social media, but there's just a whole story for just the behind the scenes on the production of that. It was production hell because of me having gone through the fire, Sloane then reaching out and going, hey, if this is too sensitive, like, I understand if it's triggering. I'm like, hell no, bring it on. And then when it came time to record, I was still getting my booth set up, and then the Kafers who own High Gravity Productions, I was borrowing the booth from them, and also Cami Havens, who's an amazing fellow narrator. And the Kafers booth, their home they needed to evacuate their family members to their home because they also had fires in their area. And so it was just like California was on fire, just SoCal in general. And so then I couldn't go over there, and I was just trying to figure it out. And so I had hit up Teddy Hamilton, who then gave me a contact in LA, and I didn't realize, he didn't tell me until I was there. And I met the guy, George Reyes, who's amazing. But he's a Penguin Random House producer.
Oh, awesome.
All right. Yeah, it's good to meet you. These circumstances. And he was so cool. And he let me stay there and sleep over at the booth, because I'm like, I need to get this book done by this time, like, it, you know, and so I will do whatever I need to do, and I'll pay you this, and then we worked out a rate, and he was amazing. But as soon as I got that all set up, I'm like, finally, I'm back on track. I can do this. We have X amount of days. I will stay here all weekend to get it done. I wake up the next morning, and we're staying temporarily at my parents', and I have just all the symptoms of COVID. just all of them. Body aches, my mouth is sore, couldn't even swallow without pain. I couldn't move, just barely. It was so bad. And so I immediately went to urgent care. I'm like, give me all the things. Just and they put a shot in my ass, and I'm like, let's go. I'm good to go. Let's do it. And I drove back to LA. Well, no, I then went home, and I wanted just in case, because they don't test you for COVID anymore. I took a COVID test. Sure enough, it was positive. So I'm like, fuck, now I have to tell this guy, out of liability, I felt that, hey, because I know other people share that space. Just so you know, I have COVID now. Are you still allowing me to come up there? And he's like, I will disinfect. Don't worry about it. Come up here. I'm like, oh, I love you, George. All right. Yeah. I'm going up there. And so as soon as I get settled in the booth, I'm ready to record. My voice starts sounding like this, and it just gets rough. And I'm like, fuck, now I can't do this character. I can't record this book. So it was nonstop, one thing after another. This is the first time I ever get to tell this story. So thank you. Give me a platform to do so, because I just haven't had time on social media. And people just coming in clutch for me, and it just still not mattering because it was just one thing after another. Yeah. So it wasn't until finally I was able to purchase my own booth with the help from everyone with the GoFundMe that the Kafers have put together, that I was finally able to record the book. Thank you to Sloan. Thank you to Lyric for being so patient with those file deliveries. That's that story.
All this happened, and I could be wrong, but this kind of happened when you just started to really get into narrating romance books, right? Like this is the beginning of that.
So I started in 2022, May of 2022. But it was really slow going for about a year and a half. There's about 6 books, which I was thankful to do, but I'm still like, I can't, this is not able to go full time for me yet. So I was still working a 9 to 5. At the start of 2024, I then decided to tap into the social media sphere regarding narration and put out a video saying, hey, I'm Brandon Francis. I'm a narrator. This is what I do. Bada bing, bada boom. And it blew up. It went viral. And then all these authors found me, and I started booking out. I'm like, okay, this is great. Like, let's see where this goes. And then I got a message. There we go. And so then around, I think it was May that year in 2024, Andy and I had put out a blooper, and that got millions of views.
Yeah, and then we love your blooper videos. Yeah,
thank you. That booked me out it's just like for a whole year. And that's when I decided, okay, I'm leaving my 9 to 5. I have enough here to go off of, and I will take that risk. By 9 to 5, I'm doing this full time. And that's when I was able to do so. And so Fight was February of Jesus, is that 2025? I honestly, my years are all thrown off now. It must have been 2025. So that was a year, I would say, into being a narrator for romance, probably 15 or so books after the start of 2024, because I had a lot of throat issues too going into that year.
And I don't think the smoke from the wildfires helps at all either.
Not at all. Yeah. No. Wouldn't recommend. No.
How did you decide to start this? Like what, like the leap from, that very first book, what made you decide to start narrating?
So from the first book I got off ACX, which is Audible's platform, to essentially find the books and audition for them. And I thought I would be auditioning for months. I thought that was what was normal. You fail, and then maybe you get one. An author, and you're usually supposed to reach out to the author and you audition. An author had reached out to me the next day of registering, and I thought I would have time to learn what the hell I'm doing. So that was mind-blowing to me. I'm like, so this must be the scams that I've heard about. Like, there's a lot of scams on ACX. It wasn't. It was Shannon Hendel, mafia romance author, and shit got real quick. So I hopped onto LinkedIn, which is at the time what I thought was like the professional social media. What a joke. No, it's TikTok and Instagram. And so it's the slow growth. Yeah, gotta use social media to your advantage. So I asked everyone I could, and information, tips, feedback, anything I could to figure this out, to make sure that my first book ever was going to be as perfect as I could make it. Because going into this, I had realistic expectations of wanting to make this a career. It's not a get rich quick scheme at all. I'm still going paycheck by paycheck, but we're getting there. And after that first book, I fell in love with it. It gave me a lot of meaning in my life. In the like I didn't have a creative outlet, and especially working the 9 to 5, I just felt like my soul was just being drained. I was going hollow. And so finally finding a creative outlet, especially one like this, and I didn't realize how important it was for me not like to express myself, but in a way where I use my voice to do so. I've tapped into things that I think I had buried And every book I do allows me to revitalize that meaning in my life and to just fall in love all over again in what I do as a narrator.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think for a lot of, especially men, your 9-to-5s typically don't allow you to express any creativity for the most part, unless you're really lucky. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know how you could express creativity with logging unless you could do a design or I feel you there.
Yeah. No.
So preacher.
Now he gets really creative. Okay.
Yes,
there's props involved now. So
oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, what were you saying, Mandy?
Do you mind if we ask you what your 9-to-5 was?
It was kind of an IT job. Like I wore many hats there, and at one point I was able to basically I was like a solo call center where a lot of these employees, hundreds, would call just me, and I would be on the phone with them all day. And a lot of them were older and they didn't know how to use a phone, but they were required to do so for the job to clock in and out. And they would have GPS not tracking them, but when they would clock in, it would ping where they clocked in and where they clocked out because they had to work out in the community. So the other half of my job was in like fraud detection. So I had to make sure, and I would see like thousands of GPS nodules that people were clocking in and out where they're supposed to clock in and out. I would call them, hey, like, what's going on? You're not where you're supposed to be. And I would find people who were just straight up lying. And then the other half is just being very patient and talking people through the app that they were using or how to learn a phone in general. Where it got more fun and where I started realizing, hey, I think I'm missing something creatively is in this job when I was able to wear the creative hat and learn the Toonly software. It's called Toonly. And it was 2D animation. And so I was able to create these kind of like explainer videos and put my voice to like behind them with a really crappy mic. But it was something. And at that point, I remember spending hundreds of hours on each video trying to perfect it, learning the softwares. And it was so intriguing to me that I had to step back when I was not able to do that anymore. And I fell back into just more of like a depression, to be honest. And go like, what was I missing? Like, why was that so exciting to me? Maybe it had to do something with the voice. Like, let me just try it out. Let me register on ACX and see where that goes.
Yeah. And now look at you. That would be like dealing with my mother calling on a daily basis to ask how to run her computer.
Yeah.
You have the patience of a saint if that's the case.
Thank you. And before that, I was working in like we joke that it's like Paul Blart, private security.
Yeah.
But it is. I thought it was going to be something like that. When getting into it, I'm like, I'm heading towards law enforcement. Let me try this out, see if it's just this, get my feet a little wet. It was not. It was so much more. It was insane. The things that we did there. I saw a lot of. I don't know what I can say on the podcast, but a lot of dead bodies. And it was very much like a emergency first responder job. It was like a hybrid of that and law enforcement and firefighter, and we got to be buddy with all these people. And it was for an elderly village of like 3,000 people, and there was 1,000 homes, and so it was like it's own small town. And we would have a cop car, and they'd dress us up as the part. No gun though, and they'd require us to pull. They'd require us to pull people over for speeding, going over 25. But a lot of the time you're pulling over guests of any age. You don't know who they are. They're visiting. And so it got a little dicey sometimes. I pulled over a cop one time. That was fun. Like a real cop. An LA detective. And then I saw him in the paper the next week. It was great. He got fired.
Oh no.
Anyway. Not because of me, I'm sure.
Of you, just in general. Okay.
Yeah.
He was speeding, so he gets fired. No.
Yeah.
It was so funny too, because like one of our units was a truck, and he was also driving a truck, and he's also hobbit sized like me. So when we both hopped out, I mean, it took like 2 seconds to like hit the ground, and it was just like it was clearly the most intimidating thing possible. So we both started laughing. But anyway,
size. I'm gonna have to use that one with
there you go.
My daughter. My daughter's very short, and her boyfriend is like an inch or two above her. So he's shorter than me, and I like that term. We'll have to use that one.
Hobbit size. Yeah. And so that being an elderly village, much like what you just talked about with your mom, I had to deal a lot with elderly people, and they're learning how to work their remote for their TVs and like all these like service calls that had nothing to do with emergencies that were half the time. So definitely had a lot of patience going into that IT job.
Yeah, I could that. Good for you, because I could.
I completely understand. And
But
I
I
got
get
to that
frustrated
point.
because my mom had me the month I turned 18. She is not that old. She should know how to do it. She just wants everybody else to do it for her.
Yeah. And they get, they
Mandy's
get lonely
laughing because she
sometimes.
knows.
Yeah. And they get lonely and they just want someone to talk to. And I'm like, I will stay as long as I can until I get another call.
Yeah.
But like, you can't use our service like this.
They were just looking for friends, just a companionship. I love it. Yeah.
My husband worked for an internet and cable provider for a very long time, and he has many similar stories of like remote issues. And then he would always kind of usually feel bad because these people are having to pay for him to come out to troubleshoot stuff, and it's like they needed to change the batteries in the remote, or they just didn't understand how the remote worked. And so he would have to teach them how to use it and stuff like that. And yeah.
That's exactly right. That's why I always start with the basics. That's why you always, no matter how advanced you are, you always get told, okay, but did you try turning it off and turning it on again? Because even the pros, they're like, I'm so they overcomplicate it and they forget to do the basics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just turn it off and turn it right back on.
So what have you found has been the most challenging about narrating books?
Well, one challenge in particular that comes to mind, especially recently with all the emotional books I've been doing and that I love doing, is if you mess up a single word while you're narrating a really emotional part, when you get your pickup packet, which is all the mistakes, and you see, and you're just hoping that none of the mistakes you've made are during those moments, because especially, it's just like the more you do it, the more you really have to try to get back into character and pull on the actor skill, because you want that raw take at least to draw from. And sometimes it's like, okay, was that emotion coming from me, Brandon, or was that actually the character? And so you kind of have to pull back and maybe you do another take. But when it's like, oh, it was such a good take, but I missed this one little word, or I missed the S on the end of this word. Now I got to redo the whole thing. That was definitely, I would say, challenging to try to re-experience it raw. But that is a part of being an actor. And it's just something, but I've never had experience being an actor going into this. And so these are all new experiences for me. So that would be a recent one, I would say. Otherwise, this is a big one. Reading. I was never a reader coming into this. Reading has always been very difficult for me. Mainly comprehending what I'm reading. I will reread the same line 20 times and still not comprehend what the hell I'm reading. I feel like I have undiagnosed ADHD and other things that have led to that. I somehow have a college degree. I have no idea how, but it was a struggle, and I got through. It's a bachelor of arts. So it should be science, but it's of arts in psychology. And so prepping takes a long time, and especially when you're booking out, this is now your full-time job. You have to kind of look at your work-life balance and make certain decisions.
Yeah, and it's not like you can listen to the audiobook.
If only. Yeah, you definitely won't. You don't want that where you're replacing a narrator.
No.
I just, because I didn't start reading until 2020, and that's when I really started reading when I was having a whole bunch of surgeries during that year. Mandy's always been a reader, but I haven't. So I get that. Never read. I think I read one book that I actually finished in high school. It was for our senior project. Had to do it.
Yeah, that was Hamlet or something, I'm sure. Yeah.
No, it was one. I mean, it was a romance, but yeah, no. It was a Christian romance, so it wasn't that bad. But yeah.
But yeah, no, it's stuff like that though that makes me go, wow, this is the last job I should have. Like, well, how did I make it when I just can't even? Yeah. But somehow when I'm performing, I am able to read efficiently because I'm performing it. There's more going on. My mind is focused. So it's been a challenge.
Yeah. What's it like being in the booth in California in the summer? Because it's not like you have AC.
I'm so glad I moved. I hate California with a passion because of that. I am a husky out of his climate in California. It's so hot. I need the temperature to be at like 66 to 70, like that range, just somewhat cool. Anything above that, and I am burning, especially in the booth.
Yeah.
And your voice gets dry, and okay, do I get a humidifier? But then that creates other issues, and then you got ventilation and to deal with. So it's definitely a problem.
Challenge. Yeah.
It's a challenge.
Yeah, I hate the heat. Mandy loves it. I'm like you're like 66, and I'm like, oh, even that feels too hot to me. I mean,
right.
I lived in Alaska before Washington, so
that makes sense.
So I really am the husky here.
Yeah, for sure. You're acclimatized. Yeah, I'm out here on the East Coast now, and it's getting down to like 34 at night, and I'll walk and step outside and just be like, oh, finally, like I'm getting acclimatized to it. I love it. That just I belong in the cold, and to where there's actual seasons. In California, we only have spring and summer. I hate spring. It's blindingly bright.
Yeah,
the grass is too green.
Yeah,
and summers are too damn hot. I want falling leaves of different colors. I want Edward weather. I want snow. You know what Edward weather is, right? Okay.
Wait, what weather?
Edward weather.
Yeah, like the seasons.
Twilight.
Yes, like the seasons when she's in Forks and she's
yes, you got it. Yeah.
I will tell you, Forks doesn't have seasons like that, but sure, yeah.
Yeah. But snow too. I love snow, and I know I will probably hate it if I have to live in it for the entire season. But I'm prepared. We got a snow shovel, and all that's. Yeah, I have expectations that are realistic.
Where are you on the East Coast?
Pennsylvania.
Oh, so you will get that. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. On a mountain.
For sure. Yeah. It's like how far north? So yeah.
I don't know. I'm so new out here.
So when I think East Coast, like my in-laws are in South Carolina, my sister-in-law's in Virginia, and then we have family in Buffalo. And so like it depends on where you are, whether you're getting the snow, but you're gonna get it.
Just So, looking forward to it, fellow husky.
Yeah. When we were in Vegas this last week, Mandy was. I think I had the room set at 67. Mandy's like, it's so cold in here.
65.
No, it was 67. I gave you 2 extra degrees because I knew you would be cold. Otherwise, it would be 65.
I was freezing.
That's 6. Yeah, if you are used to 72 and up, 65 would absolutely be freezing.
Yeah.
I lost some weight, and she just keeps yelling at me about this is what happens when you lose weight.
It's your punishment for getting tiny.
I was going to say, I saw some of your other videos. Yeah. Congratulations.
Good.
Yeah.
She looks great.
You do.
But now I'm always cold.
But now she's cold. And she's
Pros
not
and
hot
cons.
with me. And this is a problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Okay, I'm looking back at our notes. So, how many books have you narrated so far, or do you know?
I don't keep count, but the last I checked, because of the sultry awards, I'm like, oh, do I qualify for this bracket or this bracket? Like new upcoming narrator. You can look on Audible, right? But then it gives you a counter. But since I started, and I'm fine with this, it has associated Brandon Sanderson's books with my name, despite putting my name in quotations. I don't know how I can just get my book counter easily. And there's some books that are not on Audible, that are on other platforms. And so I know I just hit my 50th, and I think I am now well above that by maybe 8 to 10. So probably around 60 at this point.
Okay.
Wow. So you're cranking those out.
I take my time giving them the delivery they deserve, Mandy, but I am cranking them out. And I've been so fortunate. I've been so fortunate to be so booked out. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are some of your favorites that you've done so far?
I would love to say I don't pick favorites, because I love every author I've worked with. They're amazing. But ones that I think personally I have been attached to are Fight, mainly because not only was it a good book, but it was just, there was so much of that personal, like the background that went into that and fighting to perform that book. The lovely return, of course, just because I've never read a book or narrated one much like that had such, there's that age gap, but she writes it so well that it doesn't become a problem for most people, I think.
Exactly.
And so performing that, I had to make sure I didn't go husky growly as this character, because then I felt like that would kind of be inappropriate when he's talking to her, especially when she's young. I went higher up in my register and more caring because he's talking to a younger girl, and then getting up there until she's of age, and then they're talking more. But another big one, there's so many that I love. I don't know if I'm going to be able to name them all, but Fall Wherever They May by Alicia Wages hits home for me. I think that is the first in the series that I just kept happening to have very sad books that are just heart-wrenching. That one kicked it all off. I didn't expect it. It came out of left field. And I love characters that are multifaceted, which is a reason why I think I don't prefer the mafia genre, because your characters are generally broody. They're just one-dimensional, unless you're Brandy Hines and you can write like really well in that regard. But male characters in particular who can cry, they have scenes where they're breaking down. They have scenes that'll make you sweat, that'll make you, there's the smut, and then there's the scenes that'll make you laugh. So they have all of the emotions because we're human. That's what we are. And me in particular, I feel like I have a lot of range, not only with my voice, but with my emotions. And I love a book that tests that out and allows me to portray and showcase that. And so he was very multifaceted as a character going through that entire book. And I absolutely broke down it was chapters 21 and 22. And I actually submitted a section of that for the Sovas because I'm like, let's do some awards this year. Why not? Let's see what those are all about. And I loved it. Yeah.
So knowing that, like with the voice and all that stuff, have you done like a Why Choose yet, where you've had to be all the different guys? You've had to change your voice for all the different guys?
Yeah. So actually recently there was, it's funny you say Why Choose, because the book is called Choices by Christina Sterling. Yeah. And it was, I got to one of the characters, there was a note that he was, what's his name? Rio from Good Girls. I don't know if you've seen Good Girls. I haven't.
Oh yeah, they get in the car, Elizabeth. Yes.
Yeah. So he calls her mommy, and he starts talking about mom, come on, mommy, So I really got into character. I gave her that take because she's like, he's like Rio from Good Girls. I'm like, I'm gonna go all in on this. I haven't been a character actor up to this point, really. I feel like I've varied my voices, but to go full in on a certain voice, especially one where I was able to find a really good YouTube clip to just kind of mimic and then incorporate that into the character and do that the full time was amazing. And it's been reviewed well so far. So that was one character. And then the other was he had like a Colombian accent, and he was more husky. So he kind of talked like this a bit, and he was very husky. And then there was just like the higher up and kind of cheerful one who's just like, everything's fine, no problem. And so just kind of going between those three, transitioning, especially when they're doing like texting and everything, was it was a joy of a challenge.
I bet it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have to make them all sound sexy. So that was a challenge too, especially because it's a romance. And I've talked about that before. Fantasies, sci-fi, they're fun because you can throw out all these wacky voices and you don't have to worry about these characters getting a standalone in the future. But you never know on romance, especially if a book blows up. They might write a book in the POV of one of those side characters. And so you got to make sure for continuity's sake that those voices are ones you can not only sustain vocally, but that will sound good for the listener/reader in the future.
Because there have been a few that I've listened to, and I noticed this just recently, where the side character is like, ew, what is that voice? And then he'll get a book, and the voice is completely different, obviously. Right. But I get what you're saying with that, where you're like, that's not sexy, and then he has to be sexy.
Yeah. And similar to your point, sometimes you have other actors that have portrayed certain characters. Now you're in the series. Now you're in the next one, and now if you want to do it right, continuity wise, you'll listen to those actors to try to pick up on their nuances. So I've been trying to work on my Teddy Hamilton voice. For instance, Kaylee Loring, we just did the Merrymaker. I did that with Aaron Mallon. Such an honor. And it was a really fun book to do. And so, when you start to kind of talk like Teddy Hamilton a bit, and so just get into that. He's got a character in there. He gave me a voice note because I just did like an interview yesterday with Kaylee, and she had played my Teddy Hamilton take for him, and he came back in this voice note, and he was saying, "Yo, Brandon, I know we hang out, but like your take on my voice is like a frat boy. It's like, and it's because, don't tell anyone this, but when I have a douchebag of a character to play, Teddy Hamilton is amazing. He's the best guy I know." But when I have a douchebag ex-boyfriend character, it's like an inside joke at this point. I'll take his voice and I'll just twist it a little bit. And so, he starts to talk like this, and he's intense, and he adds more of this, I don't know, like this edge to his voice and the cadence a bit. Yeah. And that is kind of my go-to.
I love that
character.
Because Teddy did a book last year in the holiday season, and Mandy loved this book, and he was a douche canoe of a character. He was. So I hear that, like I can do it, yeah. Because I was like, there's no way this author could make me hate Teddy Hamilton or the character he's playing. Yeah, she did it. Yeah. So, yeah,
that was funny. I remember that was one of my comments from that book was like, I never thought I would hate a character that Teddy Hamilton did, but he's sleazing in this one.
Yeah. Good old.
He's got a range as well. He's amazing. He's got the full range of that. What you're talking about, this douche character, and he can go full on schmexy, and he's just a joy to listen to and hang out with.
He's a fun guy to be around.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
He is. He's a great guy. Yeah,
he's a great guy. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, there's that. But I just performed. It just came out. Vesselis by Courtney Wynn. My big, I think biggest fantasy I've done so far. Really amazing book, and I did it alongside the Samantha Brentmore, so that was a huge honor as well. I love this group of narrators. I'm so fortunate to perform with. Aaron Mallon, Teddy Hamilton coming up next year, Samantha Brentmore, just all these amazing names. And so that one, and it's doing well. It's reviewing well, and I think she got picked up by a Big Five. So we went through a Big Five, which again was another honor. Now my goal for 2025 was to do one of these Big Five publisher books, and right near the start, after I came back from APAC in March, I had like 3 offers just come right at me from like, all these like Penguin, and I'm like, wow, okay, goal met. Holy crap! And so I'm just hoping that it continues, and I'm booking out.
So one question that our viewers always want to know from narrators is if you have family and friends that listen to any of the books that you narrate. I know it's a weird question, but people are always very curious about it.
Yeah, no, I've been open. My pseudonym is my name. I don't have one. It's just me, because I have no shame in regard to that. But I completely understand people who have pseudonyms and why you would have one. So no shame there. But so my family knows. I tell them not to listen to my stuff. If they do, that's on them. But there was one person that was a coworker where I used to work at that 9 to 5. And this is probably like my 4th book I've done, just 4. And yet that one, it was Able by D. Williams. And it was basically like an MC romance, Motorcycle Club. If like Deadpool was kind of the main character, and he had all this just big personality. And I did like 16 different voices. It was really fun. But somehow my coworker knew. I think maybe she had found me on socials, and then she the next day was like, "You narrated this? Oh my God, it's ruined for me. I loved this book, and now I can't listen to it. I'm not going to do it." And so that's the only person I think I've met in my personal life who actually had listened or known about me being a narrator. I don't go on social media. Personally, I hate social media. I love it for professional reasons, but because it's gotten me where I am. but I just, I don't use it for personal reasons.
I empathize with her because Mandy and I had this conversation with Tor Tom this last weekend.
Yeah.
We talk to Tor all the time. We message back and forth all the time, but Tor always sends voice memos. So now when we go to pick up books, it's like, I want to listen, like, this is supposed to be the main character, and I'm supposed to like disassociate this voice with Tor, but the voice and Tor go hand in hand because he always leaves voice memos. I'm like, this is getting harder and harder, Tor. Not that you have to stop leaving the voice memos, but it's harder for my brain to separate the two. So I see what she's saying. Like if she worked with you and she knows your voice, like that's gonna be hard.
Yeah. So I've been giving my voice away for free on these calls to these grannies. I have not been charging them. I should have been, clearly, this whole time.
Oh man, hindsight's 2020, you know? Yeah.
Do you have any plans to go to any book signings?
I with all the changes, I think there's been enough space to the next event that I'm going to that I'll be able to make it still. I know I have 2 that I'm for sure going to. Kink and Dink and Raven's Spicy Reads. Both of those they fall in 2026.
Okay.
The Spicy Reads is in California, right? At the Gaylord?
Yeah, I think San Diego, Chula Vista.
Yes. Jessica and I have tickets to go to that one.
Nice.
Yeah. Mandy called me and just said they have what did you tell me? It was the Lazy River?
I sent her pictures of the Lazy River, but the shaded parts of the Lazy River.
I'm allergic to the sun.
Look at all this shade. And that's what I sent her. And she's like, okay, let's go.
Yeah. Normally I'm the one going.
You chill here in the shade. Yeah.
Yes, because I'm allergic to the sun, so I'll have a rash, but I think it's worth it at that point. But normally when she calls me and she's like, there's a signing, I'm the one going, can we afford it? Do we have it? Can we? This time I was like, nope, sign it up. She's like, it's the Gaylord. I'm like, ooh, that's expensive. Sign us up. So yeah. So we'll be there. We'll see you there.
Cool. Yeah, Villains and Vixens that recently happened. That was at the Gaylord. That was my first experience at a big convention, and that was amazing. Gaylords are huge.
Gaylords are huge. I stayed in one in Orlando several years ago. It was paid for by my company at the time, but they're fancy. They're nice.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, Villains and Vixens, I think, just mentioned that their next one is going to be in Orlando. I think it's going to be that exact one that you're talking about.
Then we did Disney World after that. So,
Perfect. Get it all out. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to return to Florida.
Yeah. No. I'll do Disney World without my kids. Oh, yeah. Well, it was in September or October when I did it. It's probably still hot. Off season.
California, like, it's still summer until hot, November. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like it would be in July.
No.
So.
No. So manageable for your husky. Yeah, for your husky. Okay.
For my husky. When they said go to Disney World and do it with a couple of friends and not your children, I was all in. So, because the kids are expensive. Like they want.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They want a churro every 3 feet. So,
Churro.
They do. Last time we took them, it was like every time they saw a churro cart, and they were like 10, 12, 13 in that area, they were, churro, can we get a churro? I'm like, oh my gosh, knock off, just stop with the churros. So, yeah.
Churros in Florida. Okay, noted. If I ever go, which is never going to happen, I will.
Disney does have the best churros, I will say
Disney?
that.
Oh, okay.
Disney has so churros.
Good. Yeah, I don't know why she's making fun of her kids for that. They're really good churros.
I was all about the beignets. I had to go find the beignets. So, yeah.
It's making me hungry.
Oops.
Beignets are so good.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah.
All right. What's the best way for readers to connect with you and to stay up to date on any new books that you have coming out?
Instagram messaging. I've not really been active on TikTok for probably a year. I just find that I've gravitated to Instagram more, especially with the new administration kind of takeover of it. It's not the same. But I also, anyone who DMs me, I have always replied, unless it's something, and I really haven't gotten any inappropriate messages, but if it's just like, you're cute, I'll just be like, delete. I'm not going to like engage with that. Like, what's the point? But if it's talking about books, if it's talking about acting and, hey, I love doing this, or like, oh, this author's coming out, and anything regarding books and the profession, absolutely. I've replied to every single person. I love fostering that healthy, positive community. So they can reach out to me there, or they can go to my website at peaknarration.com. There's a contact drop down at the bottom.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
this is an honor. Thank you so much.
This was fun.
It was fun. You guys are fun.
And it wasn't as chaotic as some male narrators. So
I was trying so hard. I'm sweating to stay focused. I did not want to be that. So
that's awesome.
I'm already checking out.
All right, well, we'll wrap this up and then we'll get off and say goodbye once we end this part. So
gotcha. No problem.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks to everybody out there. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Brandon, for joining us. This was fun. We enjoyed it.
Yes,
we will see the rest of you in the next video.